Right, I am going to attempt to do an experience report on Calea zacatechichi. I think that's how you say it. Calea, maybe? Zacatechichi? Anyways, so Calea is like a form of dream herb, and there are basically two ways that I know of which you can take it. You can either drink it in a cup of tea, or you can smoke it in order to gain its effects. I've taken this maybe 12 times now. I've smoked it once in these times. However, when I smoked it, I also drank some with it. So I can't comment on how much the smoking does to you, but I can tell you what the smoking feels like. Um, I would like to comment on some of the dreams I had, but I can't really remember them. I could make up a story if you really like, but I don't really want to do that because I'd rather be true to what's in my memory and what I remember experiencing. But what I will go into is sort of the success rate and also how it feels to dream on Calais zacatechichi, because I sort of remember the feeling. I just don't remember the specific dreams. God, that sounds bad. Someone shot me in the brain. Alright, so yeah, as far as success rates go, I've had it I think 12 times now, and I've only twice not had the lucid dreaming and strong dream recollection from it, although apparently it's not long term. But it was like, a month or so of recollection of that same dream, and I did get to lucid dream from it. Anyways, one of the times when I had it, I hadn't had enough. Now this is a thing. Similarly to salvia, I have people come up and say, "Oh, I had a bit and it didn't do anything to me." Yeah, have a lot. Don't don't say, "Oh, I had a bit and it didn't work, so it doesn't work." Try to have more of this kind of stuff. With the Calea, definitely, I would have more. Like, say if I bought Calea now and had a little bit and it didn't do anything to me. The next day, instead of having a little bit again, I'd have a lot, realizing that this little bit isn't doing anything to me. So yeah, of the two times it didn't work, one time there just wasn't enough. There was just clearly not enough. I had barely any of it. The second time, I actually did have way more than enough. There was no irregularities in that day, no other drugs I was on, so there wasn't really any reason why it shouldn't have worked. So I think that maybe it might have been the content of whatever chemical makes you dream in the Calea. So this is a thing. They don't. I don't think they have identified what it is in Calea that makes you dream, makes you lucid dream. So there's probably differentials in how much of that chemical is in different plants from different sites, etc., etc. So yeah, make sure you have enough if you're gonna have it, and have a lot. Now, I'll get onto the subject of drinking it. So I've had it in really, really hot teas where I've basically put loads of Calea at the bottom, and I mean a lot. Maybe like, what would be a good... Right, see this mushroom here? Probably about that size and amount of Calea, which looks like a lot. Like, there'll be a couple of layers at the bottom of your teacup of it, is how it would be. Maybe a bit less than this mushroom cap, but it's quite a lot. It's not just a tiny little dash of it. It's like a big amount of it is what I put at the bottom of it. Now, you may have heard that drinking it is rather bitter and awful. You have heard correctly. It is pretty bitter. It's pretty nasty stuff. I find that when you drink a bit of it, you can drink like a sip or two at a time, and then just like your gag reflex goes in a little bit. It shudders. It doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's gonna go. It shudders. You kind of get like a shiver through your body from the bitterness, and it feels just a little weird in the head for me. I feel a bit like, oh, just a bit overwhelmed by the level of bitterness and the level of taste from it. It does have a nice aftertaste, after about a minute or two, but the first 30 seconds to minute and a half can be very, very unpleasant. I've noticed when you have enough of this stuff to get you into lucid dreaming that it can make you feel a little ill. You feel a bit upset in the stomach. Now, I've experienced wanting to puke and feeling like I could puke, feeling nauseous, but I've never actually purged this stuff. I've never felt a need to purge this stuff. I feel as though it kind of tricks you into thinking you need to purge rather than actually making you purge. It's a very nauseating drink. And once you've had quite a lot of it, you'll feel those nauseating effects. And as well, the first two sips are better than the third couple of sips. You know, the less you have, the nicer it is each time you taste it. So, for example, if I take a sip, it'll taste awful. If I take another sip straight after of an equivalent amount, it'll be bitterer and bitterer. For some reason, this stuff seems to get worse and worse as you drink it, rather than better and better. Kind of in the same way to ayahuasca, except ayahuasca is a different, like, makes your liver and your stomach feel sort of like they're contracting, whereas Calea kind of just makes them feel like they could shake and like they've got waves coming out of them. I guess it'd be similar to being seasick, a bit of constriction in your throat, and a horrible bitter feel. Anyway, so that's what it's like consuming it as far as taste and bitterness goes. It's a little earthy and it's a little just strange alien feeling. It's like earthy, bitter, DMT reminiscent tasting. It's strange shit. It's horrible stuff to drink, but nonetheless it does what it does. I find that when you drink it, it relaxes you quite a lot. Like, the first few sips don't do that much to you. They kind of hype you up, the first couple of sips. And then I find the more you drink, the more sedated you become. You become quite relaxed and not sedated like you need to fall asleep, more like your body just feels rested. You just feel happy. You feel good. You feel like you've had a big sleep. You feel like you've had a lot of exercise without... You know that feeling you get from a lot of exercise and it's the night before you're about to go to sleep after having a hell of a lot of exercise. Imagine that feeling but without the muscle soreness is kind of what it's like. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing it justice, but it's quite a nice sedating feeling at larger doses, but small amounts kind of make you feel a bit amped. Put you in a good mood though. And yeah, you kind of like... It helps you fall asleep, but you have to have enough that you could just go at any moment. That's kind of the way I feel with it. And once you go, you kind of feel like you drift away. It's kind of like having normal sleep, you blank, and then at one point you feel, or I feel, when I take it, sort of like my body just tingles, my stomach tingles, and I kind of feel like I'm happy, and then I lucid dream. Like, I feel that happiness, that feeling, that emotional feeling, and then all of a sudden, that's gone, disconnect from that and go straight into the lucid dream, is generally what seems to happen. Now, when I wake up from these lucid dreams, even the bad ones, which I've only had 2 of from this experience anyway, I'm not sure if that's the same with all lucid dreams or what, I felt really energized the next day. It's not like a sedative where the next day you wake up and you feel like you've been cheating on sleep. I actually feel like Calea helps you feel better. It kind of makes my body feel clear, but my mind feel sedated when I wake up as well. And it's just it's a nice feeling when you wake up. I kind of feel a bit more human, a bit more connected to the earth kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely like the way it makes me feel when I wake up too. But as for the dreaming, the lucid dreams themselves I find to be a little more relaxed, more emotionally immersive than they are visually immersive. I'd say I've not really noticed them being any more or less visually immersive than regular dreams, but I find them more emotionally immersive, in a good way, generally. Even the nightmarish ones had a nice tinge to them. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is the smoking of Calea. So, I've described all the drinking and the effects. There's not really much else for me to say, really, apart from going on to the smoking. Now, yeah, I have them in like small single skin cigarette type things. I don't need tobacco to smoke them with. I found if ground up enough, they smoke on their own. Not sure if anyone else has smoked it, but I have smoked it, and I found that they are quite nice to smoke. Smoke them with a roach and not a filter. For those who don't know what a roach is, rather than the filter tip, it's a piece of cardboard scrunched up to form an open hole, rather than the filtered small porous holes. But yeah, I smoked the single, and it tastes quite nice actually. It doesn't taste like you'd expect. Like, a lot of things that you smoke tend to be really, really bitter. A lot of herbs or a lot of natural things, even tobacco. I found this stuff quite smooth and really, really, really herbal. But I'm trying to explain like the taste. The taste would be kind of like lavender and rosemary with a bit of like a spicy, awake kind of taste when you smoke them. Oh, I can't do the description justice. I find that when you're smoking it, you get sedated completely. It's not like when you drink it and you get hyped to start with. I feel like it sedates and relaxes you from the start. So it's quite a good positive feeling. I think it adds to the experience, but I'm not sure if it does. A friend of mine did drink. No, she smoked some, and I drank some and smoked some. Drank some and smoked some. Sorry. And we were both going to trip together, and we went to sleep at the same time. It didn't work for her, but it did work for me. So I'm not sure if the smoking does work or not. We were both discussing how the bitterness is a horrible factor, and that's the reason she decided to only smoke it, whereas I still drank it while smoking it. But yeah, I'm not sure how well smoking works. So I'd like to ask you guys how well the smoking works. But whether it works or not doesn't detract from the fact that it's quite relaxing to smoke, and it's a very nice smell, and it's a very nice soft smoke. From what I remember, although apparently there are a few different types of Calea. I think there's a bitter and a non-bitter. But anyways, that's for another day, or for people who are much more Calea specific than myself. Anyways, to finish off, I'd say Calea is the kind of thing you wouldn't want to do every day, because there'd be no point. Like, your body kind of recognises that you don't need to do it every day. It's the kind of thing that you do every 2 or 3 weeks, I reckon, is a natural thing, or maybe every month or so. Just as and when you do it, I guess, as and when you feel it. It's the kind of thing that doesn't really seem to significantly affect you long term or short. Well, short term being a little bit sedated and relaxed, but it's not like it made me feel like I couldn't function at all. It was more like a head sedation, body like physically feeling nice, rather than being unable to do anything. So it was a functional sedative essentially, and yeah, I would recommend this as a tool to help you to lucid dream, and yeah, just to explore dreaming in general, and also more relaxed state of mind rather than just dreaming specific. I think this could be used to sort of calm you, to bring you away from things that have been distressing you before, without feeling an addictive need, without having the same sort of damage you'd get from, say, benzodiazepines or other things like that. It's a much more spiritual and natural feeling, I believe. I could be wrong there. Other people, feel free to disagree, but that's just my 2 cents on Calea zacatechichi. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching it. I definitely enjoyed doing it.